We can classify them all into just these 7 classes, in contrast to the extraordinary complexity that we see in both the consequences of damage, in other words, pathology, and also the causes of damage, namely metabolism. But the thing I'm going to focus on for the next few minutes is the third thing I've written down here, which is the sense in which we buy time this way. If you take someone who's 60 years old and you slow down the rate at which they are accumulating further damage, then they're still getting older. They're still biologically 60 and then 65 and then 70. And even if you halve the rate of damage, you're only buying a little bit of time. But if you are even moderately capable of reversing the damage and actually implementing bona fide rejuvenation to take these people back to a younger biological age, then you're buying a hell of a lot more time. You can imagine, for example, taking someone back from being 60 to being biologically 40, shall we say. It's going to take another 20 years, maybe longer, before they get back to being biologically 60.
They're very
That's a nice long time. Why does that matter? Well, it matters because of the progress of technology. Obviously, we've heard a lot yesterday and today about the progress of technology.
What's my advice on, like, well, how would I pick the crap from the shit from the shinola? Well, I'd firstly look at what's healing. That's where I'd start. If I'm just trying to look through that and, like, did someone just make that up? I don't know about that one, actually. But just look at it and see if it's any healing. Because I remember that one that I mentioned before, the aforementioned, was very healing. Crop circle designs. I'm not sure what is so healing about these things. Well, you know, the geometries carry high dimensional energies which are encapsulated and embedded from above the 6th dimension, so that could be one thing. Let's type it in. Symbols. No. Oh well, it's not coming up. I posted it the other day, we could have a look actually. I'm the site creator of consciousazine.com, if you don't know. Let's just go to my photos. Yes, it's in here somewhere. Okay. Why would it not be in there? It must be on the timeline photos. Where are ya? Okay, it's coming up. Must be. Great video. Sorry, I don't know where they went. Oh, there they are. So, I made this into a picture. It took a little while in Photoshop to get it all lined up and stuff, but on enlightenedbeings.com, Jaffrey's website, I'm from consciousazine.com, but on Jaffrey's website, Enlightened Beings is where I found this, and so I just reconstructed it, because on his webpage it's actually all just down, and it actually felt better when it was all just down, vertically. See, I've put horizontally next to each other. Symbols given to Xeox Indian standing elk who's now golden eagle, like I was saying. So when you look at these, they're actually very healing. The bigger you plus this, the better it will be. So we just plus this. Oh, that's better. Now, whenever you're healing or meditating or in yoga, I call it Qui-Chi yogatation. So whenever you're, you know, in the real, well, not Qui-Chi yogatation, more in the real still meditation, or just when you're healing, even when you are doing Chi work, come to think of it, you might get vibrations leaving you, and weird tweaking is the order of the day. Let it go. That's fine. You might crack your neck. Well, that's better than letting that energy block and cellular gunk in that area and whatever, the block that's there, build up and make a neck problem. So if your neck cracks a little while you're doing chi or healing or meditation, that's fine. And actually a lot of my body parts will crack when I do real nice thorough meditations, because you're realigning the whole inside. De-inflammation's occurring and all that, and you're sweeping out cellular junk, because you should be drinking water while you're healing to wash it out. You know, I'll put olive leaves and lemon myrtle in my water. Like, I have 22 teas, but those two aforementioned are the best ones. So yeah, you just want to, besides washing it out, you know, when you're healing, you're just letting it go as well. It's going to be an out breath. My entire healing sessions are like one big out breath. When I'm studying on the computer, it's like one big in breath. I even hold my breath and center in the crown and stuff a lot. I'm not saying it's healthy, it's just how I do it. And I can uptake incredible amounts of information that way. You know, it's just focus. So when we're healing and you've got any vibrations coming off you, that's all fine. Let it come off you. And it's better that your neck cracks a little now rather than that gunk and that energy block building up and you have to go see the chiropractor to make a real big crack later, because that big crack's can be very unhealthy. The little crack you just made in your neck, 10 little cracks instead of that one big one, because you've healed 10 times, 10 meditation sessions, is good. That little crack when the chi's coming out and the weird vibrations. If you see me, and you will soon up on stage, when I start trekking around the world as a Maitreya Christ of the golden era, golden crystal age resonance, and you know, universe 2 of creation out of universe 1 of reaction, and age of Aquarius, and all the other good stuff that's happening. Isn't it all cool how it's all really, I don't know, like consciously culminating now? It's like, yeah, sure, in the past they did dances by the fire at, and, you know, did their astrolatry, but I think all this stuff happening at once is just the biggest event that's ever happened. And I also think we're the height of the universe, which makes me question what I'm looking at right now. Because, you know, for me, it's not as easy as a Drake equation. For me, it's a little bit of an exobiological conundrum, because I'm looking at these pictures here whilst I'm considering an exobiological conundrum that I'm the height of the universe. And I don't think it's just an anthropomorphic view, and if you want to relate it to Earth, and well, do you think that chickens are going to inherit the Earth? So an anthropomorphic view in that sense is warranted. We are the stewards of the environment. We are the stewards. We should be. What's happening out in the world there today? So, I don't think it's as easy as the Drake equation, like I was about to say before. The Drake equation has like 10 factors and ends in 10,000 or 1 alien civilizations. Yeah, it doesn't sound real accurate, mate. Hey, so for me, it's not a numbers game. People always go on about, look how many stars in the universe. We should probably go look at Hubble, the Deep Field Telescope or something, but I'd rather look at these symbols. Oh, every time I let go into one. So what I do is I let go all of my energy from my light body through my third eye into the symbol. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So yeah, for me, the exobiological conundrum. Now, with water bears, they can exist out in space, which makes you again think against what I'm trying to say here. That we're the height of the physicality of third dimensionality. And I think that the eschaton and Terence McKenna's time wave for instance, shows us this. How does that show us that we're the height? Well, you can see how incredibly complex each little situation. Sumer, Egypt had to fall there, and there for that to happen, and then this had to happen, and you can see how incredibly complex it is. And what I was going to say before as well was, to do with this Drake equation is, I don't think it's that simple. And it's not as, and we'll talk about time versus space in a second, but I don't think it's that simple. For me, it's not just the numbers, how many stars are out there and all this, and you know, they're really crude. It's like a crude numberage, that Drake equation for me. It's like brute force crude, and it's not the sly way, and it's not, I don't think it's really getting it as deep as it should be into the actual answer. 1 or 10,000 civilizations. Okay. Anyway, so for me, it's more like how many star rays are involved changing the magnetics of Earth that particular day, the moon in its particular position that day affecting a certain person who will do a certain event, and all state phase changes occur through one individual. Group decisions come later, if you'll notice that, in all systems. And you know, you've got to think about how incredibly complex it is that we've come to where we are. Now, saying that, yeah, it is a big universe and there is a lot of star shine. And of course, it could be all orchestrated perfectly, so to speak, on another planet. I'm not going to say that's impossible. Definitely not. But what I'm putting forth here mainly, that's just a bit of, you know, brainstorming, what I was just doing then. But what I'm putting forth mainly is I think it's an argument of where we are in time and not just where we are in space, that there's a lot of space. That's the general argument out there, and I'm kind of saying, look, I think it's about time. I think we're the height of third dimensionality of physical, chemico-organica, whatever you want to call it. Even though I think the whole thing is some kind of program, this universe, it's all so orchestrated. So, you know, for me it's about where we are in time, and you can look at Terence's time wave and really visualize that, and really it drills at home how complex our situation on Earth is. And there may be squids on Europa, but what I'm trying to say is a squid going to inherit Earth over us? Probably not, even if they're 10 times our size. But, hey, maybe then, but I doubt it. We seem to be very ingenuical, us humans. And, you know, more so, we seem to be the head of spirit, man on planet Earth. And how I've seen some of these so-called grey aliens and so on and so forth, the 52 known species allegedly, how I've seen some of them behave, would not be conducive of any sort of real intelligence. And there's an argument, actually, that brings me to that argument I read. Someone wrote an argument about malevolent against benevolent, so bad aliens against good aliens, malevolent and benevolent. Malevolent's the bad, and benevolent means you're like good to people. So you always hear about these bad aliens or the malevolent aliens, and really if they're that advanced, you don't move that way. Notice at the end of history we're moving through the bullshit into the shine. Right, we're moving through the dark tunnel to the light at the end of the tunnel into this new amazing universe and Aquarius cycle and of precession of equinoxes and etc. Golden Age and golden crystal resonance and all that. So, and again, you see how incredibly complex it is. The age of Aquarius is going to make us do certain things. The preceding phallic order, culminum, of the Piscean precession of equinox has ended in, well, look what we've got, male-dominated society. Now it's return of the divine feminine, age of Aquarius, etc. Just notice how complex that is. Is that happening on the planet with the squids? Is that happening on Europa? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's incredibly complex. Incredibly complex. Our lives here and our situation here. In saying that, again, it's not impossible then to rule out life anywhere just because it's complex here. And that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, really think about it for a second. It's incredibly complex, So that doesn't rule out other life. And who said I'm not ruling out other life? The video is called Exobiological Conundrum, not I'm ruling out alien life. Pardon me. So what I think we need to consider is what that viewpoint does for us. Not just end there, but in an open conclusion. But what does that, how can we work with that, what I've just mentioned? If we are the height of creation, how is that good or bad? Well, it seems pretty good. We seem to have a lot of so-called control, like over things. We can affect nature now, because that cycle 1, 16 billion or 20 billion years, the universe 1 of reaction, has culminated now in 2012, the eschaton. Into the universe 2, creation. And notice how much we are creating all of a sudden. Has anyone been using the internet lately? Like, foremost example ever. Can't wait for Li-Fi instead of Wi-Fi too, so that we transmit over the light spectrum. That's going to be cool. Anyway. And see, yeah, it's possible aliens already are there. Now, if they are there, in Li-Fi, L-I-F-I, instead of Wi-Fi, what we know today, W-I-F-I, if they're already at Li-Fi, these, let's just pretend there's aliens out there, well, then they can transmit this stuff to your third eye, and then old mate here can draw this out and say it was given to him by what I'll say is a future identity re-entering timelines. That's what I think's going on. Every person, every starseed, indigo, wayshower person I've talked to, not one of them has actually said to me, yeah, I physically sat down, had a beer with old mate Grey Alien Eye. No one said that. All the stories, and I've got 2 main ones on Lunacidal Paranormality page in consciousazine.com. Consciousazine 1. Yep, that's right, I'm going to make it Consciousazine 2. Sneak peek, I just revealed it. No, a few people know. But I think it is a case of it's all coming true, T-R-U-E, true to I. So that's just my opinion. Remember, the video is not called Ruling Out Aliens. I'm just talking, and it's just Exobiological Conundrum. And it is a conundrum, look out there. You've got gravitational lensing and all this stuff going on, and speed of light not being a continuous exact speed of light. We measure it differently over time, apparently. Minute changes, but still difference. So, I don't know, I like to keep an open mind, is the saying. Everyone always says, be open-minded. Well, I seem to be. Oh, wow, spiritual law of equality. That one was just pulling me in right now. So, if we're the height of creation, what does that do for us? Like I said before, let's continue there. Well, it brings us to the center of the cosmic drama, doesn't it? And it allows us to take responsibility more, but just to see ourselves. Because then you start to look at the planet, all the life, how complex it is, and it's like, well, hey, yeah, I am a concrescence. Man is some sort of level up from an ape and from a squid and so on. You know, some sort of extra abilities and so on. So it makes you have worth again. Because if there's all these aliens flying around everywhere, interacting with your reality, and you know they're physically coming down and probing you up the arse, which I think actually is their energy coming through your chakra system, and I actually had that experience once in hypnagogia while I was falling asleep. Wrote about it on the Lunacidal Paranormality page I did. But yeah, that's what I think with the probing thing, by the way. Stuffs me why people, have drawn actual probes. I guess that was maybe just an artist rendition who didn't have the experience. I don't know. I haven't interviewed every alien person, alien interactee in the world. But from my own direct experience, one time when I had a so-called grey visitation, there was two, and it was in a house, and I was falling asleep, and I'm sure I was just asleep because it wasn't happening out there. It was like a fog came, and it was funny because my friend saw a huge, ball, which he thought was a comet go just over the hill at Balambal, Terranora at North New South Wales, Australia. And I went to bed 5 minutes after that, and this dream came on, and in the start of the dream that actually happened, and I actually walked downstairs, so it was like a repeat of what, weird, I know, real weird, it was like a repeat of what just happened. I walked down the stairs, I'd fall asleep real quick because I was quite tired. It's probably only 10 p.m. or something, or 9, but I was real tired, and the hypnagogia state, as you're going into sleep, and the REM sleep, it sort of was coming on then. It was and then I'm sure I was actually asleep because when I sort of came to, it did feel like I was waking up, and when I came to, the whole situation sort of disappeared. Now, so while I was asleep and it was happening, there was a fog come up the hill. We had this house on the hill, and out of the fog came the actual spacecraft, floating behind the two greys, real low hovering, 2 meters above the ground or whatever, and came up, and there was a probing event. Now, I woke up from the massive, energy, and pretty massive. It's hard for me to pull that kind of energy up myself, and I'm an efficacious meditator. Even on the beach is the closest I'll get to that kind of energy surge, sitting on all the crystals at the beach. But it was basically a quite large energy surge, and really feelable, and it was tenable at the root chakra, and then like a shock up inside you, and the chakra's being enlightened or something, and enlightened by greys. I know how that sounds. It doesn't fit with whatever else we've discovered on the internet, but yeah, really weird. Anyway, now I don't want anyone to say Ben said he got enlightened by greys up the arse, because that's not what happened. It's not like I was enlightened, there was no vision or anything with it. What I mean was this shock of sort of enlightenment. Enlightenment, or enlightenment, to me is the overwriting of your body's programs, insertion of new parameters and functions and packages and so on, if you're coding, programming. That's basically what enlightenment is. The entering of light, enlightenment, yeah. So it wasn't like an enlightenment vision moment. It was very scary, and it was more of a probing moment, and it nudged me, shocked me awake. And there was a vision of a green lit up probe and a grey alien too. So this is all stranger than you can suppose to me. Even I can talk about it for even longer, and we've already discussed it in reasonable detail. But it's still just stranger than you can suppose, right? Well, what if in the future they have found some sort of time travel, but it's not physical, and that would be what I would suggest as Benjamin Cowberg from consciousazine.com. I don't know. I'm not so sure about a physical time travel or teleportation. Well, the teleportation is a different thing, but physically time traveling with the entire, you know, light body, your body, and all the complexity of the body, the metabolism, etc. You know, it's a far way off anyway. But I don't know about a time machine. Maybe, yeah, teleportation, and I've read up on that and what they're doing with that. Not saying anything against that, but I'm suspecting in the area of time machine that there won't be a physical one unless it's like 1 billion years away or something, I don't know. A long, long time. But I really don't think there'll be a physical time machine. It would cause all those weird grandfather paradox thingies, you know. All the time machine paradox things, you can look it up on the internet. So it would cause all them, I think. And however, what I'm saying is, what I don't think would cause them, all the weird paradoxes and stuff, is if you could send back symbols through someone's third eye, which is basically just streaming light. So I'm sure all my, tech-savvy people out there understand what I just said. I think it's basically just streaming light, because the third eye is the stream of light. The Sushumna tract, I call it. They call it the Sushumna, I call it the Sushumna tract. Anyway, the Sushumna, the light up the spine, the Kundalini, etc. So the third eye is a single stream of light. This would be the way to time travel, and the only way I suspect it'll actually ever occur. What's also funny is Terence McKenna, I just remembered, was always going, and he died 12 years before 2012, remember, but the founder of the Time Wave Zero, and he was always going on about, at the end of history now, it'll be, I think he was saying that he thought there might be a time machine created. Because he's like, people always asked him what will happen at the end. One thing he said was, at the end you'll have it all, everything. Like, look, in today's world, we've got the best and the worst ever every day. So another thing he said was, I'm pretty sure he was saying something about he thought there'd be a time machine possibly at the end here. And, but I think he was thinking like a physical machine. Because, that was back then, but yeah, he was a genius. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but it looked to me like he was considering a physical time machine. In my opinion, he wasn't wrong, in a way. Do you understand what I'm saying? How come all these alien symbols have really bombarded us at the eschaton here, around this eschaton? There's a lot coming out now, more than there was back in the 80s or whatever. So, and that is indicative of it being, I don't want to call it the final wave of indigos, but it's the mass wave of indigos, because you had, tricklings of indigos throughout history, all the greats, in other words, all of the greats were indigos, basically. Well, not all of them. You can get organic portals doing great work, somehow. But if you look back, I think there was a first wave around Einstein and Walter Russell around the 40s, and then there was another one, and you've got all the echo baby boomers, who are, almost mentors to me, but I have no mentors really, because read my site creator page on consciousazine. Anyway, then there was that 60s wave or whatever, and there seems to be like a final bigger wave. It's like the waves of indigos are increasing, is what I was just getting at. Anyway, why were we discussing that? Oh yeah, because of the vision. Because all these symbols are coming through vision. So, This would be a time machine to me, or time mechanics. Future identities re-entering timelines. I mean, it's still not ruled out. You've got plenty of videos on the internet of look-alike physical things, but I want everyone to concentrate for 1 second, please. About 10 seconds from now to 10 seconds from now. What occurs is, in video editing, you can put one video on top of another. Yup, it's true. Some people, sorry for the sarcasm, but some people act like, you know, that's not possible. And sorry to be, I'm not meaning to be mean and arrogant right now, and I would understand that the typical African kid who has no idea about technology, or the typical slum kid or whatever, you know, underprivileged, so to speak, people out there not tech savvy, you know, might have thought that was a mean thought from me. But you can lace one video on another, so all these UFO videos out there, just make sure you think again, not just think once. That's what I'll say there. I'll leave it at that. Think again. Yeah, because, you know, I've seen a few videos out there, and you know, they've got the UFO flying across and all that. But movement and balance drawing me in. Oh. Yeah, so when you look at the videos on the internet of all the aliens, Inebel, Canusi, 1,000-ton beryllium ship, little green men aliens, just please think again. And do yourself justice. Research it too. And then people do research it and they go, oh, but look, there's 1,000 million, billion, zillion government files. Well, here's a counterintuitive argument, or a counter-argument, devil's advocate. What if, my fellow conspirators, that it goes along the line of New World Order publishing that crap, and I'm not saying people didn't have genuine experiences, so I should reverse that and say not crap. Some of it's crap though. But what if the New World Order, or, you know, the governmentals, the puppet people, the people in office and so on, are being pushed by the New World Order objective to make a one world religion, and the Pope has recently come out saying all religions lead to the same God or some shit. And what if it's part of the New World Order trying to create that one world religion, and I heard the UFO thing, the alien thing, is part of that? That's just what I heard. Maybe someone read the quote of Einstein saying the future religion will be a cosmic one. Someone in the Bilderberg group. I don't know. But, yeah, what if it's part of that? That's just a counter-argument. Just a random, open-minded counter-argument. So this may or may not conclude my video on Exobiological Conundrum. Most likely not. Because I think I think I should do more. So I'll leave it for another day, and I'll just cut the recording here for now. And yeah, thanks for listening. Enjoy the symbols, and yeah, you can go to my page or whatever. No, I'm not saying, follow me, but yeah, you can go here. It's just Ben Cowenberg or consciousazine, so simple.